Okay, the union leader, that's called Osi for now, the Dangote, the Pengasan leader, say Pengasan has mutual suspicion that Dangote will attempt to renege on the deal. We know that Dangote does not play by the rules or respect agreements. We believe and suspect that some of the promises extracted during the negotiations will not be honored. Why so much anything? But because we respect due process and institutions of government, we will give them that benefit of doubt. Yet, any breach we will met with severe and immediate response, he said, threatening Nigeria.
Yes. Okay, well, we can go on before we go on a break.
Okay, so responding to widespread allegations that the union's insistence on restating the 800 workers was driven by a desire to secure check-off dues, Osifo dismissed the claims as laughable and mischievous. According to salaries of the affected workers are meager compared to the earnings of Pengasan members in other multinational oil companies, making such accusations baseless. Well, maybe Mr. Osifo has not listened to the real allegations by the Nigerian public, and I think that's why she should be defending Pengasan against. The Nigerian public is saying that there is mischief much more beyond what they are arguing about, that the sack of 800 workers is not something that cannot be negotiated amicably, and with the federal government stepping in without you shutting down the Nigerian economy. That is why Nigerians are suspecting that you are tools in the hands of the troublers of this nation, that it is the cabal and the oil thieves. That is the allegation. That is what is in the mind of Nigeria. And just for you to defend yourself against that. Now you are saying that even the terms of the agreement, what you agreed to, that you don't trust Dangote. By extension, it means you also do not trust the federal government, and you are threatening, not just threatening Dangote, you are threatening Nigeria. That is what it looks like to me.
Threatening Nigeria, threatening Nigerians. We'll take a short break.
I will back.
Market here. Fine girl, I have your size. Come now.
Hold on. It's not that kind of market. Let's fix that. Now, that's much better. This is the Nigerian International Trade Fair. We're talking about the best of Nigerian innovation, the power of global commerce, and the future of our economy. For 10 days, the world will trade with Nigeria. Over 100,000 visitors, 2,000 plus SMEs, and exhibitors from 10 plus countries. From green tech to agriculture and finance. Join us at the Nigerian International Trade Fair. To register, exhibit, or volunteer, visit www.nitf.ng or call or WhatsApp on 0815-256-0854. Date 31st of October to 9th November. Location Trade Fair Complex, Lagos, Badagry Expressway. Your journey to the future starts now.
Right, we're back, and the program is still Conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM. You still have anything to say about Dangote and Pengasan?
No, you have said it all. Like I said, I'm just feeling I'm feeling disturbed. Yes, they have issued a fresh strike, and they have told us the reason why the fresh strike is the fresh threat is being issued. But well, I hope something positive will come out of it. I know meetings will be on anyway. Meetings will be going on, and we hope something positive will come out. But at the same time, I'm not just too happy about what is happening between the Dangote refinery group and Pengasan, and maybe about other institutions too.
Don't sell our assets in the oil industry. ADC cautions I'm beginning to see the ADC as more of an irritation rather than a viable opposition, because they seem to, aside from the fact that they seem to injure and then do all the things that petty opposition political parties do. There's so much rumbling, internal rumbling among them, that I'm beginning to think, like I've always said, that the prediction of the federal government, of the presidency, concerning their viability their ability to stand will eventually come to pass. Now, they are saying that the assets to the oil source should not be sold, not because they love Nigeria, but because they see this as another point by which they could tackle the ruling party for their to further their own political nest. And you ask them why they think the assets should not be sold, they don't have anything to say. Now, it's not about me, my own opinion here, on whether the assets should be sold or not. Of course, I will still have to weigh the pros and cons to see whether at this point in time it is imperative to sell the assets. But from what we are seeing unfolding regarding past antecedents, regarding the functionality of the oil industry, regarding the attempts to awaken even our own local refineries, Port Harcourt, Warri, Kaduna. Well, I think the best thing, if it is done in good faith and it is sold to the appropriate people, to the appropriate quarters, and I think the best thing would actually be to privatize those assets. Well, let's see what the ADC is saying here. Bimbo. It's the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has joined the labor unions in the oil and gas sectors to caution the federal government against planned divestment from joint ventures operations in the upstream sector and sale of the nation's equity stakes. The National Police Secretary of ADC, Manambaraji Abdullahi, stated that the position of the opposition party at a news conference in Abuja on Wednesday. Correspondent checks revealed that the leadership of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association, Pengasan, and its counterpart, the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPEN, had last month expressed reservations about the federal government's move to divest significant stakes in joint venture assets managed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and they rejected the proposals to cut government stakes in JV assets by as much as 30 to 35%, as against the federal government current equity stakes between 55 and 60% of such assets through NNPCL. Now, the same labor unions that have not been able to explain why the refineries, the government refineries are not working and have not been able to do anything to make them work. They did not declare an industrial action when those refineries were down to protest against the billions of dollars that was being spent on turnaround maintenance, and then the fact that the workers were even being paid without doing any work. They didn't deem it fit to shut down anything in protest over that against the federal government, to make sure that those refineries are revitalized in the interest of Nigerians, as they are saying now. Now, they do not have a solution. So, the refineries are not working. There is crisis problem in the oil sector. Oil is being deemed as a cost to Nigerians rather than a blessing, going by what we have unfolding now. The hardship we are facing now, instead of us to be enjoying what we have now, it has become a burden to us, a source of hardship and them suffering. Pengasan and NUPEN, they do not have a solution to that. They do not have any suggestions as to how that could end. So they should come up with their own suggestions, aside from the plan to sell the assets in the oil industry, apart from the plans to divest from joint ventures in the industry. They should come up with their own suggestions and not just saying that we are against it. Why are you against it? What are your reasons? What are your reasons for being against it? So that's why I said the ADC that is adding its voice to theirs now, I think it's very convenient at this time to label the ruling party and not swing at this time, because well, of course elections are around the corner. Yes. So they can as well, it's very convenient for them to call the ruling party Akoti later, as the Yorubas would say. Yes. So well, just my opinion here, Bimbo. Like I said, I think I see them more as an irritation than the viable opposition.
Yes, that is what always happens, when elections are around the corner, and especially when one party calling itself an opposition comes up. You understand? And now, still talking about the ADC now, and well, talking about Nigeria at 65. The ADC described President Tinubu's 65th Independence Anniversary address as brilliant rhetoric that lacked substance, having failed to provide practical solutions to Nigeria's pressing challenges. The ADC National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi said Tinubu's declaration that the worst is over offered no clarity on what Nigerians should expect going forward. And the question we should ask is, that is then, when the president says the worst is over, what does that really mean? And what does success look like? What should we expect now that the president has declared the worst is behind us? And because when the president makes such a claim, he is suggesting that our suffering has been worthwhile. Well, Oluyole noted that the president's optimism contrasts sharply with the daily reality of hardship and insecurity still faced by ordinary Nigerians. Well, no, that is a BDC for you again.
Sadly, I agree with them. I agree with them on their position regarding the president's speech. Like I said, the president seems to be speaking from both sides of the mouth. He seems to be contradicting himself. At some point he said things were okay, at another point he said they were not. But we still have to... but the summation of it all, Bimbo, if you ask my opinion here, I do not think the worst is over yet. Because I'm not feeling it. Bimbo, I don't know about you.
Nobody is feeling it. Except those at the top. Yes. Now, religious organizations too are talking. The Christian Association of Nigeria, in its reaction to that speech, warned that millions of Nigerians, citizens, are still grappling with hunger, insecurity, and joblessness, despite ongoing reforms, stressing that true progress must go beyond economic statistics to tangible relief in households across the country. And that is according to a statement by the President, Archbishop Daniel Oko, the President of the Apex Christian body in Nigeria, Christian Association of Nigeria. And the former Anambra State Governor also, our Labour Party's presidential candidate in 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Obi, lamented that successive leadership failures have frustrated the vision of the country's founding fathers. He expressed regret that this vision was betrayed by leadership that enriched a few and impoverished majority of the citizens. And according to him, in the last 10 years, the APC-led federal government has diminished gains recorded by the country since return to its civil democracy in 1999 and rose to Africa's largest economy. Well, that is Peter Obi's view for you there.
It seems something is brewing that could portend a lot of trouble for Nigeria unless we act fast. The world seems to be switching more and more, especially the advanced climes, so more and more away from fossil fuels. They are switching to clean energy, and the future may not be very bright unless Nigeria also begins to look in the direction of non-oil exports. Report warns Nigeria of declining global oil demands. That's the headline here. And urges focus on non-oil exports, tax reforms. A new case study published by Climate Strategies and Salzburg Global has highlighted the urgent challenges and untapped opportunities Nigeria faces as the world accelerates its shift away from fossil fuels. A report titled Domestic Implications of Existing and Planned Oil and Gas Demand Reduction Strategies for Nigeria, authored by Dr. Oluyole warned that the country's heavy dependence on oil and gas revenues makes it especially vulnerable to global energy transition trends. Now, despite owning one of the world's largest oil and gas reserves, Nigeria is already experiencing declining oil revenue, high production cost, and limited refining capacity. So, as we are trying to implement reforms back home in the oil sector and to make sure that we enjoy what we should be enjoying as a nation from our oil resources. At the same time, it seems as if we're about to face a new challenge on the international, on the global scene. More nations shifting away from fossil fuel, switching to clean energy, and we must be awake to this reality as well. Now, it says as key export markets, including the EU, the US and India ramp up decarbonization efforts, demand for Nigerian oil is projected to fall sharply, and this poses risks for government budgets, foreign exchange earnings, and employment, especially in oil-dependent regions, Omonju said. According to the report, it is not a hopeless situation, as the decline in fossil fuel demand could catalyze long overdue diversification into agriculture, manufacturing, storage minerals, and services with strong potential for job creation and inclusive growth. So it's suggesting what we should be doing, and we should be doing those things now.
Yes.
As for agriculture, Bimbo, I do not think we are serious enough about agriculture. The only part of the country where I've seen their governors being very serious about agriculture is northern Nigeria.
Yes.
Despite the fact that they are troubled with insurgency, ravaged by banditry and all that, the governors, it's as if they have this passion and go to northern Nigeria despite the nature of their land. You see,
and their peculiar weather.
Honestly, you see acres and acres of irrigation of irrigated land.
Yes.
And then
Fadama.
You
Yes.
see, give it to them, and then despite the troubles they have up there, but they currently control the food chain. That is a reality. I stand to be challenged this morning, Bimbo. You know, the last time they said that they were not going to allow food to come to the south. We all caught cold. It was only they sneezed, and the rest of the country caught cold. So the northern, the southern governors, should also buckle up, especially in southwest Nigeria.
Yes.
I do not know. We used to hold the key, the agricultural key. We used to hold the key to the agricultural vaults, the agricultural treasures of this country. And for the southeast governors too, I do not know why they don't seem to be interested as the people. Well, thank God for your state. We always see on this platform the efforts of the current governor, Sheyi Makinde, agribusiness in particular. But then there is this warning here, and we must wake up to the green reality.
Yes, and you know there is one particular area of Oyo State that they used to tag the food basket of the state. Somewhere in Okeogun area there. And yes, they are trying, and I'm sure that the state government will also bring its searchlight on that area too. The Okeogun zone of Oyo State, because I know they produce large quantities of food.
But scarcity of cooking gas eats Lagos. Vendors sell 1,600 per kg. I don't know if that has to do with the recent Pengasan strike. First residents of Lagos and Ogun communities on Wednesday experienced scarcity of liquefied petroleum gas marketers, popularly known as cooking gas. Most vendors that opened shop in some neighborhoods jacked up the price by selling at 1,600 naira per kilogram instead of 1,150 per kg sold last week. Lamenting the situation, Mrs. Joke Banjo, a trader at Agege, said she was searching everywhere to refuel a 12 kg cylinder but could not find any until she got to Ojodu, where the stations refused to open shop, as well as it might be connected to the industrial action ordered by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association, Pengasan, and Trade Union Congress, TUC. So it wasn't really entirely as a result of the strike. It was more because our people were hoarding the commodity and refusing to sell because they wanted to profiteer from the situation. They thought it was going to linger. But
yes. Now, beg the pardon, we have a problem at hand here in Nigeria. That is talking about the health sector now. Do you believe that it is only one doctor that attends to 9,083 Nigerians, the patients? Yes, that is according to the National Association of Resident Doctors. They are lamenting They are lamenting.
No, that was due to brain drain in Japa.
Yes, and because the government is not doing the needful. Yes, we're going through that after this time out. Stay with us.
Unstoppable you, fueling your vitality the whole day through. Embrace each challenge with renewed light. With Supermalt, your performance takes flight.
With 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, one Supermalt multivitamin after breakfast every day keeps you going.
Supermalt, unstoppable you.
Any motor where you dey drive, you need confirm protection, no. For your engine, no. Make a mobile, make it mobile, oh. Make it mobile, yeah. Anywhere you dey, the motor deserve to be #1, yo. Make it mobile, oh. Make it mobile, yeah. You carry the go, make everybody join me, say. Make it mobile,
Make you go with the best.
make it mobile.
Right, we're back and the still conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM.
Yes, we are talking about the health sector now, and then the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors Wednesday decried the country's poor doctor-to-patient ratio, describing it as far from global best practice. And in a statement issued on Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary, the association announced that with effect from today, October 1, 2025, that was yesterday, resident doctors across the country will no longer take continuous calls beyond 24 hours. And the statement was signed by the NAD President, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, Secretary General, Dr. Shuaibu Ibrahim, and Publicity and Social Secretary, Dr. Abdul Majid Ibrahim. Nigeria has long struggled with a shortage of doctors worsened by a steady exodus of health professionals seeking better and working conditions abroad.
And just imagine to think that the Minister of Health under the last administration, well, he was a politician, so he is a politician, and he must be expected to make such political statements, even though some of those statements could be unreasonable. He said our training institutions were producing enough to replace those that were already away. That was what he said. So we all wondered at that time. So we are producing fresh medical graduates fast enough to replace the consultants that have years of experience, the experts in the sector that are living in droves, and you are saying that our institutions are producing enough to replace them and actually in the jiffy be able to do what they are doing. Well, remember a respected, renowned medical practitioner and author, entrepreneur, motivational speaker was a guest of the program, Dr. Abib Olabitoye.
Yes.
And we were asking him, and I personally asked him that how come with all the problems we have in the health sector, all the challenges of training and all that, and how come our medical doctors and other health workers are in high demand, especially the advanced climes. And he explained it to me. He said, hey, look at it this way, that these are people that undergo training in difficult conditions. These are people who are able to improvise in the most difficult conditions without the tools and equipment, modern tools and equipment that they need. Yet they're able to improvise and perform wonders. They perform surgery, they perform feats without this equipment. So when they go abroad and they have this knowledge, they are able to it's like being able to start a car without the ignition. They're just a very simple example there. And then they get to those advanced climbs and they make all those things available. So now told us that okay, imagine the wonders they would be able to perform when they now have all those things at their disposal. So he said that is a simple analogy. and that Bimbo, I always say this Dokitawa. I mean, in the midst of the most daunting challenges, they are out there.
Yes.
Like soldiers on the battlefield. Remember COVID-19, remember Ebola. They were there, despite the fact that the government refused to offer them the necessary, even the kits, the simplest of kits, to protect themselves. While they were available, they were simply not enough. And we understand that it was corruption, that everything, the interventions at that time were corruption ridden, not in the health sector, but from the government sources itself. And many of them actually died.
Yes, I wanted to say during the pandemics.
During those pandemics, we give it to them. And I don't think anything they ask for can be too much. They're not only asking for better conditions of service, they're also asking, just like the lecturers are asking for the revitalization of universities, the revitalization of our health institutions. I don't think this is too much to ask. I still have my grouse with them, the last Minister of State for Labour, who is now the Minister of Aviation, when he opened his mouth and said that the doctors and advocates were being unreasonable in what they were asking for, simply because if he has a headache, of course he's out of the country to treat that headache, treat it in Nigeria. So, well, I'm worried at this headline this morning.
Yes.
Is it one doctor to over
1,998 or so patients. Well, and the consequences is a crushing, workload on those who remain, who are remaining, and especially resident doctors, and they are the ones that are forming the backbone of Nigeria's tertiary healthcare system. And medical associations have repeatedly warned that unless conditions improve, more doctors will continue to live, worsening the crisis.
I mean, the government is at its wit's end on how to make them stay. There's time we are contemplating a legislation to force them to stay in Nigeria, at least for some years before they actually travel to render their services. But then that is where things are okay. I'm sure many of them will regard this day. In those days, Bimbo, when we talk about the big names today in the health sector, the Ojengbedes, the Omibolos, and many of them are like that, Bimbo. When they were as young people, they traveled to the advanced climes to acquire that knowledge with the intention that they were coming back to serve their country. They wanted to come back, they were eager to return, Bimbo. They did not want to stay in those advanced climes. They look forward to serving their country and developing the health sector. But now, Nigeria, 65 years of independence, and I'm sure wherever they are now, they will be asking that, is this what we dreamed of? Is this what we yearned for? Is this what we wanted? They were candles, and they wanted to light other candles, and they have indeed lit those candles.
Yes.
But then, those candles have been taken to other climes to keep those climes aglow instead of keeping Nigeria aglow, and will continue to pale into darkness. And then, well, it's a very sad situation.
Actually, let me just make this correction. It is one doctor to 9,083 Nigerians. Yes, I have this one. We are talking about River State here now. Fumbara sacks commissioners, orders. Let's see what this is all about. Yes, the River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has sacked all commissioners and other public office holders serving in his administration. And the decision, according to a statement issued in Port Harcourt yesterday evening by his Chief Press Secretary Nelson Chukwudi, takes immediate effect and followed the recent Supreme Court judgment. And the governor, during a valedictory session with his cabinet to mark Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary at Government House, Port Harcourt, thanked the outgoing officials for their services and contributions to the state's development over the past 2 years. What do you think about that? Don't you think it is still acting as the good boy?
Well, time will tell. I don't know if this is part of the script from his puppeteers.
Yes.
And so those that are holding the strings of the of the puppet, like I said. So what time will tell? Well, if it's not part of the agreement, I'm sure somebody would have said something by now.
Since IBAS, as it stated here, exited the state on September, that is the sole administrator, September 18, the fate of Bara's appointees had remained uncertain. The Rivers State House of Assembly, as its first sitting after the lifting of the emergency rule, had called on the government to submit a fresh list of commissioners, commissioner nominees for screening.
So of course it was majorly Mr. Bara's appointees that worked with the sole administrator.
Yes.
So of course they have to go. So it's still the script from the puppeteers.
Yes.
And then Mr. Bara is dancing well to the music of the puppeteers.
Dancing bottle.
I feel for Mr. Fubara. But then, if it's all about in the good interest of the people of Rivers State, and the people of Rivers State are the better for it, well, so be it. After he also said it himself that Rivers people must come first, and this is why he agreed to bend the law backwards to agree to those terms, to the puppeteers' terms and conditions.
Yes. Now this one says Lagos man shot dead after fight in nightclub. Yes, of course, after a fight, the man was shot dead. That is it will be obvious if there are kind of groups in all those calls.
Right now, if you are talking about nightclubs, you went there to enjoy yourself, right? Why not if I why must that degenerate into a fight?
Most times, they meet different groups, different, deadly groups. They meet in clubs. Yes, that is it.
Probe attempt to pay out 12.75 billion naira Osun LG funds as legal fees. PDP asks IGP EFCC. They're still at this. PDP is confused. Party should be ignored, says APC spokesman. They should not be ignored. The veracity, the authenticity of what or otherwise of what they are saying should be looked into. Nothing should be ignored. Kogi government norms as 26 fared killed, others missing in both accidents. Again, and on Kwara, security forces attack kidnappers' hideouts. Government urges limited movement. It's coming to that now.
Yes, because I think I don't know what is happening to Kwara State. Kwara State has not been like this in a long while, except in recent times when you always hear about kidnappings, killings, murder, maimings, and robberies are not even rampant there. But with these other issues that they are battling.
And I'm worried Kwara is next door.
Yes, yes.
We'll get to promotion by then you are in Kwara.
Yes.
Right, let's open the phone lines. And phone lines already buzzing. What we call it?
Yes, sir. Before we pick calls now, we'll take this break.
I am malaria, the king of malaria parasites. My mission is simple, to take over your body, to cause fever, chills, headache. But one thing stands in my way. Come on.
Effective relief from malaria. Comal on, malaria gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult doctor.
Èyíkéyìí ọkọ̀ tó bá ń wà. Ó nílò ààbò tó péye. Máa dágun lá jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mú bí o. Níbikíbi tó bá wà ló mú ojú lọ́wọ́ o. Ó yá sọ pé. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mú bí o. Mọ́bì ní ṣúlẹ̀ ọjọ́. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mú bí o. Lọ pẹ̀lú ojúlówó. Jẹ́ kó jẹ́ mobile.
Alright, we're back and the program is still conversation. And alright, it's your turn. Time to open the phone lines. 070-5555-1985
or 080-5500-9850. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Nigeria, what are we living in? The local government go for life. I think the Nigerian government is killing everybody. Nigeria is a big corruption. Hardship. That's why I'm going to the local government. Take it to go out. Take it. Mark me that. I River State. You might have gotten that church. On my fifth church. You don't know what to do this under the petition. I think the government. The local government. The party is the head. Now they want to punish again. I should put his game up for that's all. That's the matter. Thank you much.
Yeah, thank you. 070-5555-1985. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sir. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Happy Independence Day in advance.
The same to you.
I'm in Nigeria. I listened to the previous speaker today and he was talking about his achievement and all that. I think what he should have done more is talking about what Nigeria has been bringing to the table, not what he has been. It's not a campaign, but that's what we do in Nigeria. Everybody uses the campaign ground to campaign for what they have done. And sometimes we kill about billionaires that they're giving to people. The majority of Nigerians are passing. But I think someone looking at we saw data now. We saw free data, 65 and then free call. I was calling someone and they told me it's nothing now came in and said congratulations. We just exhausted the 3 days to come from the intended. I mean that's the benefit, you know, Nigeria. I think it's 65 naira or something like that. So maybe that's what they meant by that. The criteria they took up. No problem. But my message now is to the DSS and the NIE and Nigerian Education Agencies and all that. Those guys that did that moderate starting quarantine must be fished out. Instead of them wasting their energy on Sojourner and all that they are, those guys should be fished out. Because if they escape, they will go to another village and do it. And they know this place. Kwara is not far from the southwest. They started with Kogi State. Now they go to Kwara. Now they will come to a village very close to us and do the same thing. So the message should be. I know they are content. They should, forget the political opponent and all that and see the real assignment before them. So that's that. Okay, take that call. I remember the other one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 070-5555-1985. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Where are with you?
I think I'm calling from Oluyole.
Sorry, sir.
I don't think the worst is the answer to, according to the advocate of the president. The Nigerian economy is a single economy. I mean, we rely so much on oil, and the oil sector is in crisis. The security is not, it's not there, so to say. There was this case of a village under State just 2 days ago, and the Amotekun people were going there to rescue the people, and the people that were troubling them got the wind of it, and they waylaid their Amotekun people, killing about 5 of them in 1 day. And when they got the reinforcement, it still happened again. In that same day, I don't think the worst is behind us. I pray that it is. I pray that the worst is behind us, but I don't think so, sir. And you two also agree that much that the worst is not behind us. Something must be done to the health sector. The health sector is still in crisis. The strike is over. Another fresh threat. What is the meaning of that? I'm sorry, I mean, let the president do something about security and the health sector. Then we may be talking about what they handle. Akitola from Oluyole. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's called suicide for someone seeking a second term at leading a country to completely admit that things are not going well. Like I said, he has to speak from both sides of the mouth.
Good morning. Yes, my name is I'm calling from Agua, the local government.
Well, good to have you, sir.
Yes, sir. I want to react to issues of killing a Kwara or all other part of Nigeria. It's quite unfortunate. When this killing is continuous, government are not react. They're not talk about what is it cause Nigeria to protest it around the whole Nigeria local government or state to help us, because the killing is too much in Nigeria. So, and then the government are not react. We are still talking about 2027, and people are there who want to vote for them. So my advice to them, they should try and stop this killing. People are already dying finished. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Tola, we haven't heard of Yan Onsora in a while.
Well, I guess maybe the volume of callers, maybe she's unable to reach us.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Tola, Mr. Bimbo.
Good morning, Mr. John.
John calling from Oluyole.
Good to have you, sir.
Congratulations to Nigeria on our 65 independent anniversary. I believe we will get there, no matter how long it takes. But quickly, my heart is disturbed this morning. I took a risk in visiting Oluyole yesterday in Kwara State. The damage that has been done to that town by bandits. Because I like having first-hand information than to come on air and talking rubbish. I was there, I left there late in the evening. Mr. Tola, Mr. Bimbo, this same war that is coming, except people are blind to the fact. This same war happened in 1840, which Balogun Oderilo of Ibadan helped in defeating, winning that war against this, against the enemy of the Yoruba race. He won that war in Osogbo after Ilori has been taken over. We had a plan to install area in all Yoruba land. That is what is coming up again. I just want to warn our Obas in Yoruba land to stop fighting each other and beef up security. Because the handwriting is on the wall. They are seeing it. They should not become unaware. There are things I saw in Oluyole that cannot be said on air. They are now using the form of religion so that the Muslim in the south will buy the idea. When you started attacking them, the Muslim in the south will buy the idea that no power Muslim. They hide under that disguise they are not Muslim. They are not Muslim. But they want this time around, they want to hide under the canopy of Islam so that the clerics in Yoruba land will buy that idea that they are Muslim. When they feel attacked, the Muslim will be sympathizing with them. That is not the picture. I went to Oluyole, I saw confirmed information. I will talk more on this tomorrow. The time is past 10. Enjoy your day. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
What about the situation is, Mr. John? It still boils down to the fact that these are criminals. These are enemies of Nigeria that must be dealt with. You said it yourself, Mr. John, they are not Muslims. They are only identified by the canopy of religion. These are enemies of the people. They are enemies of Christians, they are enemies of Muslims, they are enemies of the North, they are enemies of the South, they are enemies of the East, and they are enemies of the West. They must be dealt with decisively.
And they are even enemies of themselves. Yes, we'll quickly take this one more call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Briefly. About the pathetic situation in Kwara State, but whereby they are killing. So something has to be done. You see, in this type of occasion, it is beyond religion, it is beyond culture. So the security of the people will be so much in the heart of the government. You see, our governor should at least gear up. He should face the reality by making sure that that insecurity, that killing, come to an end. So that will be a sort of advice for the governor, because whereby they are coming to the town to kill people is so pathetic, and something considered has to be done. So let them have a typical type of person that for long. Let them have.
Oh, sorry, that's from your end. Well, actually, we have to go. Check your time is 7:30, and then we will be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing, for another edition of Conversation. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akondi. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy your day.